Thank you for joining us today for part three of our three-part series on COVID-19 and its impact on mobility. The intent of this series is to provide you with information regarding COVID-19's impact on the mobility industry, as well as key considerations as we navigate through this rapidly changing environment. My name is Bob Thomas, and I'm the Vice President and General Manager for International Moving in the Americas. So Sirva has identified 6 areas of focus and consideration. International household goods impacts will touch upon 5 areas of consideration, starting with mobilization, then supplier impacts, potential unplanned costs, mobility process timeline delays, and enhanced support. All right, so mobilization. As countries open up, impact reports of already initiated files will be generated for review. Now, both the origin and destination countries must be open in order to mobilize. Then we have to look at where the transferee lives, in a detached home or an apartment. There's different restrictions in apartments. And then what do travel restrictions look like? Are cargo and passenger travel both open, or is it only cargo? Citizenship and visa status between the countries must also be reviewed, especially during the new restrictions that are taking place in the US. And then only if everything lines up, then active dialogues with the assignees, setting dates, and managing those expectations can begin. Now, as we look at supplier impact, we're going to focus on the 4 key suppliers: our agents who do the packing and unpacking, our ocean carriers, our air carriers, and the inland haulers. Now, for agents, more virtual surveys are taking place, and electronic crew apps are being used to minimize contact and the exchange of paper. Now, if you want to understand more about how virtual surveys work from the employee perspective, please feel free to join us on July 21st for the ERC webinar we are hosting called The Virtual Survey Through the Eyes of the Transferee. So this has been a new way of doing business for agents. They're sanitizing procedures in the office and in trucks, wearing masks and PPE, temperature checks for the crews before work begins. We are seeing some areas of reduced packing and unpacking workforce that are available to perform the services, as some countries are starting back at 50% of labor capacity and are going to build up from there. Agents are first working through shipments and storage before accepting new orders. And then many locales have different regulations for enhanced safety, distancing, health, and hygiene requirements. Social distancing and hygiene controls will impact process and time in the home, with less direct contact being the goal. Our ocean carriers, we are seeing some household goods container availability being strained. Containers may not be in the right locations. They may be at the seaports versus the inland ramps. Sailings are also reduced, and they are not as available as they have been in the past. In some instances, we are seeing manufacturing opening up, and they are given the priority for bookings over household goods. Same with air carriers, limited flights, so those flights are not as available as they used to be. And for our inland haulers, while we are not seeing this currently in the United States, the capacity to haul household goods could be strained. This is the team that carries the goods from the warehouse to the port or vice versa. How could other programs be impacted? So clients really need to work closely with their account managers to understand the challenges specific to that employee's host country. Maximize the services that are available, and then collaborate on solutions and brainstorm alternatives regarding services that are not. Transferee representatives being present during packing, if the owner is back in home country, has increased. Now, we are seeing when even a representative is not possible, we do need to look at some form of remote viewing, virtual crew check-ins, or in limited areas, cameras can be set up to record in rooms, and the move consultant can quote fees for this extra support. So we must address the additional cost and time to ensure comfort for the transferee and crew in light of this non-presence. And we need to make sure that the right goods are packed and sent in the right mode, for example, sea, air, or storage. Also, if the origin and destination country are not paired, and houses are sold, extended temp housing and storage will be needed. Some areas are offering sanitizing of containers and homes for extra costs as well to ensure the safety and health of crews and the transferee. How is it impacting costs? Well, we do see increases. Manufacturers and retailers had been holding goods in the container at port as they were waiting for stores to reopen and free up space in their warehouse. This caused port congestion and demurrage charges. With that more congestion and port storage, this is the fee that is charged for holding the containers at port. We also do see longer waiting time for custom clearance due to that overcapacity. That equals demurrage, again, port storage, and have experienced long wait times for truckers to pick up and drop off containers. This equates to additional wait time charges. In a worst case, we can see possible shipment diversion to alternate ports since the original port is congested, which can result in additional haulage and detention charges. Detention is a little bit different in that those are the charges for containers that exceed free time away from the port. Again, limited air freight capacity has increased costs quickly, as have limited sailings. And when you combine both, more shipments will go through the agent warehouse and not directly to or from the residence. So going through the agent's warehouse will also incur additional storage and warehouse handling charges. Now, as we look at the overall timeline, we do see transit times extended. We expect delays from the norm, but the move consultant should set the best expectations they can given the information that's currently available. Coverages like the Carrier Delay Protection Program will directly help the transferee financially when those previous expectations change for the worse. We do see a delayed and extended peak season. In the past, it had been July. We do see models that shift this to August. And of course, patience is critical as we navigate this new environment together. Now, as we look at U.S. domestic household goods, moving has been deemed an essential service from the start, so we have been operational. There are less restrictions and freer movement, but many locales still have regulations for enhanced safety, the distancing, health, and hygiene requirements. In the US, we have seen reduced surcharges, which is opposite to international, where we have seen some services increase in costs. Representative presence during pack or unpack issues still must be addressed, even in domestic. And we do have similar issues for virtual surveys, electronic crew apps, sanitizing and hygiene procedures, reduced packing, social distancing, and hygiene controls, all of which impact process and the time in the home. I hope you found this information useful. Please contact me with any questions you may have. My email is bob.thomas@sirva.com. And I thank you and wish you well.